guys, don't you just love that card? So we're going to make that today. For materials, you will need a piece of mint macaroon. It is measured 8.5 by 5.5. You're going to need a piece of, this is Twinkle Twinkle Designer Series paper. This one here is measured 2 by 5 3/8. A piece of Calypso Coral, which was cut out using the 7th smallest layering circle framelit. You will also need a piece of Whisper White, scrap paper. You're going to need to do some stamping on it. So the ink colors today that we will use will be Call Me Clover, Grapefruit Grove, Mango Melody, Pineapple Punch, and Mint Macaroon. You will also need the stamp set, Painted Harvest. It's an oldie but a goodie, and we're going to be using this today. And I'm also going to use the Stamparatus today and the leaf punch that coordinates with this stamp set. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do is work on the card base. Now this is a technique, I didn't create it, it's out there, where you use your die and you partially cut it out. So you can do it with most of your dies, and it's kind of a fun way to get more uses out of your dies. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your cardstock, your mint macaroon, you're going to score it at 4 1/4. And that's going to be the middle of your cardstock. Now you're going to take it and you're going to score it at 2 1/8. And you're going to score it very lightly. You just want a real light line on there, just so that you can see it. It's visible, but it's hardly there. So now we're going to take this and we're going to run it through the Big Shot with the circle framelit. So what you will need is I'm using the magnetic platform just because it helps me hold my die in place. If you don't have the magnetic platform, you can just use some washi tape on the sides here to kind of hold it. So I've lined up my stitch shape framelit circle, and the line that we scored earlier, the very light line, it's visible. So I've got my circle over that. It's kind of in the middle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other plate and I'm going to line up the edge of this plate on the edge of that line that we scored earlier, the very faint line. I'm just going to line it up just like that. And then once I have it on that line, I'm going to run this through the Big Shot. So it's only going to cut where the 2 plates are. It's not going to cut here. So I'm just going to run this right through. And then you're going to have your die partially cut out. So it looks like that. So now we're going to take our paper trimmer. You could also use paper snips if you wanted to. But I'm going to use my trimmer. And I'm going to take my cutting blade. And I'm going to line this up here. And I'm going to go ahead and cut up to the cut that we just did with our die. And then I'm going to make sure you lift this up, slide this over here. And I'm going to do the same thing with that. So what you're going to do is just essentially cut this off. So this is hanging a little. I'll just get my paper snips and just kind of trim that so that that comes right off. So now when you fold your card over, you're going to have this super cute design. So we're going to go ahead and stamp and get this card decorated. So I'm just going to go ahead, take the Stamparatus and use that because I want to get a dark image on my flower. So I've just put my scrap piece of paper here. I'm leaving the foam on because these are photopolymer stamps. You're going to want that extra cushion. And I'm going to use the base of the sunflower first. And we're going to go ahead with this. There are little arrows here which tell you how to stamp these. If you follow the arrows, you can line these up pretty good. I took a piece, or not a piece, but I took some black, a black marker, a Sharpie, and I just went around the edge of my stamps so that I kind of, you know, I can see where they're at, and I don't have to worry. If I take them off of here and I turn them, I know that that black mark right there is where I need to line up all the marks together. So what I usually do is I take the black magic marker that I did and I kind of line that up at the top. And then I'll just place this down. And the color we're going to use for the bottom flower is the Pineapple Punch. So I'm just going to pick this up with the Stamparatus, and I'm just going to ink this up. Now with this stamp, it's not going to stamp out perfectly. It's meant to look like a watercolor. So you're going to see spots in here that aren't stamped. And that's fine. That's the way the stamp is meant to be. That's how it's actually supposed to look. I want a darker flower, so I am just going to ink this up a couple of times. And this is why I love the Stamparatus, because you don't have to worry about your image being blurred. So I'm just going to do this a couple of times until I'm happy with it. Okay, I think that that is good. And then I'm going to move on to the next part of the sunflower. And we're going to stamp that out in Mango Melody. So again, my portion that I have put the magic marker on, I'm going to line it up towards the top. And you can see through this, so you can kind of line it up over, right over the image. So I'm just going to pick that up. And again, we're using Mango Melody. I love those two colors together. So I'm going to ink this up again and re-stamp it a couple more times to where I want. I actually like that. I'm not going to do it anymore. The last color, Grapefruit Grove. This is going to be the center of your sunflower. Perfect. So now we're going to take and use the third smallest or second largest stitch shape circle framelit to cut this out. You're going to go ahead and set that aside, and then your scrap piece of paper, you're going to do some stamping. We're going to use the Mint Macaroon and Call Me Clover, and I'm just going to stamp this out with a stamping block. I'm not using the Stamparatus. In here are the two leaf stamps. We're going to use both of these. Your detailed one will go with the Call Me Clover, and Mint Macaroon will get the base one. So you're going to stamp out this 4 times, and you want to leave room because you're going to punch these out. And this is how it's going to stamp. It's going to give it that watercolor look. Now we're going to take the Call Me Clover and we're going to stamp right on top of your Mint Macaroon. So do your best to line this up. You're just going to take your leaf punch and you're just going to punch these right out. Now we're just going to go ahead and assemble this card. So your designer series paper will go down first, and I'm just going to use some snail adhesive, and you're going to apply that to the front of the card, and it'll give it a nice little border along the outside of the card. And then the next thing that you will do is glue down your sunflower to your Calypso Coral circle. Just like that. And then on the back of this, we're going to put some snail adhesive on. And then you're going to determine where you want your flower. And then what I did was I just took my leaf and I did 2 up at the top and 2 towards the bottom. Once you have your leaves on here, I'm just going to go ahead and put this right on top of this circle, and it should line up really nicely. And then just anchor that down. Isn't that so cute? What I did to top it off or finish it off is I just used one of the gold faceted gems. So I'm just going to use one of the little small ones here, right in the center, and that's it. The card is super simple, and you can still write in here, right in here. And you know, you can use this as any type of card. You can do some stamping down here, thank you, happy birthday, but just another way to get more use out of your dies. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe below and ring the bell. And if you have not subscribed to my newsletter yet, there is a link here to subscribe. I will provide you with the latest information, and I do run contests through my newsletter. So thanks for watching.